What's up, guys? We're back on our podcast. This is Robbie, Austin, and Doug. How you guys doing?
Doing
Robbie, I
good.
like how that's your first question every time for me. So how you guys? I'm
Gotta
Robbie.
ask how the boys are doing.
Phenomenal. Yeah, no, you do. I'm doing good, Robbie. How are you?
I'm doing solid.
Okay.
Doing pretty great. With the
Yeah.
Knicks. Knicks closing out. Absolute demolition derby of the Boston Celtics. What was remaining? It was a phenomenal performance by the Knicks. I mean, they just defensively, after like that point in the first quarter, they just took over. Mitchell Robinson at one point was guarding all five guys. Like he rotated to all five guys, clamps up Jaylen Brown. That was when it was like, all right, it's over.
Yes. I was very happy the Knicks won. Boston Celtics are the worst, and you never want to see the. Honestly, it's a defending champion bias. It's like you don't want to see them do it again. But I don't even think that's the case. I just hate Boston and all their fans in general. They all
Yeah,
stink.
a lot of people do.
Unfortunate, Tatum had to go down, obviously, but
Yeah,
you know, prayers for him. Didn't matter anyway. The Knicks beat him in dominant fashion. Nobody gave them a chance. Everybody thought, I included, I thought there was 0% chance the Knicks were going to be able to beat the Celtics, but
Me too, me too.
here they are now. And
I
it's going to be interesting because I feel like everybody was on rooting for the Knicks, and now it's kind of like a very similar team that got hot, underdog team in the Pacers that people were like, this was a very not predictable Eastern Conference Finals. So
yeah. You had 260 win teams lose.
yep.
Like so. But I mean, it's definitely a tough matchup. I think I haven't checked the betting odds, but weren't they pretty close? Like the
I'd assume
lines.
so. I
So
I saw the game one. You guys are like 4.5 point favorites. I think.
yeah, since
I'm
we're
not sure
at
about
home,
to win the
but
series.
yeah, I mean the Pacers are a very fast team. They played some
Yeah.
great defenses playoffs. Like they're definitely not someone to mess with, especially if they get hot. And you can't underrate them. Last year in the Celtics series in the conference finals, they were playing them extremely close. So you definitely can't underrate them.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Going back to Austin's comment about you disliking Boston fans, I saw some videos of some Nick fans like some guy went to Game Six
Oh yeah, I
in the
saw that.
Garden wearing a Halliburton jersey, and the fans, people were like chasing him and throwing trash at him and throwing stuff at him. It's like that's pretty bad, right? Like that, there's no way to justify that by any means. But it's also like that's almost worse than wearing like a Jason Tatum jersey, I would think, because you're like, I don't know, like what to even think when I saw that, except like I wouldn't expect anything less from a Knicks fan. So you can appreciate the passion. It looked like Gotham City after that Game Six win. So I cannot imagine if they win the Eastern Conference Finals and they are going to the NBA Finals because it's just going to be mayhem. But it is really nice to see a passionate fan base like that, and it is kind of also there is the funny side to it when you see some of these videos, but there's also like
Bing bong.
the really disappointing side to it. But again, it's just excitement, and yeah, I'm happy for Robbie. Hopefully, next year that will be Philly doing that.
Yeah, I
Hopefully not.
don't. But yes, that fan actually, Tyrese Halliburton
I
is
saw.
flying him out to Indiana when they play at home, Game Three. So
Wow.
yeah, he's probably getting tickets. He's probably gonna be like a hero in that. But my thought process is, I think if the Knicks get ahead in the series, which I anticipate them to, if I'm the Pacers organization, I think we might have to unban Tyrese Halliburton's back. We might have to get him back in the arena, get a little spark going. But Robbie, to answer your question before, the Knicks are minus 150 to go to the finals, and the Pacers are plus 125. So it is a
Okay, so
lot
pretty
closer.
pretty close.
Yeah, I mean the Western Conference,
Yeah,
the Thunder are minus 350. So
yeah,
Really? Wow.
yeah. Wow.
well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, but I mean, it should be tough battle like for the Knicks and the Pacers. I mean,
yeah,
the Knicks are gonna obviously play basically the same five guys. Occasionally mixing in McBride and Robinson, but it's the Pacers have a lot of guys they can throw out there, and they're just gonna keep running. So they'll have to be ready to keep up with that, because that's a lot, especially when Tyrese Halliburton's on fire.
Yeah, you can't let them go on a run.
Yeah.
The key to beating the Pacers is to control the pace of the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you let them speed it up on you and like you're trying to run back and forth with them, they're going to burn you out, and then they just build up leads, cuz I don't know what happens, because I always thought the Cavaliers were that team. That's why they had the Cavalanche.
Mm-hmm.
But even the Cavalanche could not keep up with the pace of play, and they only got. I actually heard a story that, they had like the fake snow for like their avalanche. Yeah, they had like it came out confetti, but it was fake snow. They like bought that for like this postseason. I think they got to use it one time. So,
and it cost $500,000.
Yeah.
And they used it one time.
That's crazy.
That's tough. But then also NBA playoffs. It's a great day to be a Nikola Jokic hater, such as myself. The gimmick got bounced in dominant fashion. Game wasn't even close. I mean, it was close, I guess, with like 5 minutes left in the first half, and then all of a sudden it was a barrage. And you know what? Jalen Williams stepped up.
Revenge game.
Yeah, revenge game. He hurt Doug.
It like crazy, like.
So, of course.
You know the Des Bryant video where he's like, "How do you like that? How do you like that?" You remember that?
No. You mean Kirk Cousins when he's like?
Kirk Cousins.
There's one of like Des Bryant doing like a similar thing to like Kirk Cousins, but like.
Gotcha.
And he posted that, and because he deactivated all his comments after that game, and like I was seeing all the memes and stuff like that, and I honestly should have known that like he was gonna he dropped like 17 in the first half, and I was like, yeah, like he's gonna go off, and I think he might have only finished with 24 or something like that, and I think Shea had over 30, but like it wasn't even close, and like it's like when they play like that, when they're dropping over like 130, 140 points against like the Nuggets, it's just like impossible to even try and keep up with them. Like they have so much depth, they have so many offensive weapons, and it's just like I do think like you said the odds were I think minus 350 for them. Like that makes so much sense. Like I really do think that it obviously the Nuggets took them to 7, but like I do see the Thunder taking this away. But yeah, it was great to see, because me being a J-Dub fan, I was happy to see him, come back and really show that, he doesn't only drop like
3 of 16.
He's good. He was a lottery pick, I believe, or I think he might have been a lottery, or I'm not sure, but he was first round pick. Yeah, so good. I was happy to see that.
Yeah, and like that Thunder defense is swarming. Like they came out and just Caruso all over, like face guarding, like taking on that assignment. Like he did an excellent job. Like, and that was crazy. A 6'5" guard trying to scrap with the best player in the world, and it's crazy what he his hustle and his heart, like just in those situations. And like the Thunder defense, like once they started swarming, like it was just crazy. Like it was turnover after turnover. Like the Nuggets turned the ball over so many times, and they just went on a rampage after that. Like they were just getting so many fast break transition buckets, and that's something to keep in mind, because Julius Randle and Ant are sometimes loose with their handle, and you can't be that against the Thunder, because they will just take those easy buckets every time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll also big shout out to Aaron Gordon for having I think it was grade 2 hamstring strain, which is like usually a couple weeks to come back from, and I thought there was no chance he was going to play in Game 7, but you could tell that he was hurting out there. Like he didn't have a good sprint speed.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to even go out and play, and he still grabbed, I mean, he only took 4 shots, but he grabbed like 11 rebounds or something. It was nuts. Yeah. But on to my Jokic part of this. How do you take 9 shots in Game 7? 9 shots. You're supposed to be that guy. And then also, another gimmick response, of course, after the series. Oh, yeah, going to drink a lot of beer next few days. It's like, okay, Jokic, we get it. Like, I don't want to hear or see that guy at all
Damn.
until next season, at all. I'm just so tired of this nonchalant business that Jokic does. It's a bit. It's a bit for me. I don't think it's natural.
I do think
Yeah.
next season too, there's going to be a lot of changes. Especially, I think Michael Porter Jr. will probably be playing overseas. I do not think. I mean,
Playing through injury.
I mean, like his brother got banned for just gambling against himself. Like, someone's got to look into him too. Like, this dude is just like putting up these insane stat lines. I'm like, for real? Like that's I don't whatever the exact
That-
is, it's just bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
He also just doesn't pass the ball. Every time Michael Porter Jr. touches that ball, he's thinking green light.
He don't
Like,
swing the rock.
does not swing the rock. But I mean, the only player that looked like they showed up to play in
Christian
Game 7,
Braun.
yeah, was Christian Braun. He got hot. He got hot very early, and I was like,
Yeah. And he's a great defender too.
yeah. And it really looked like at the beginning I was like, this might be where the experience, outweighs the youngsters. But I think this was more so just young team, fresh legs. They were not injured. They were hungry for it, and they had something to prove.
Mhm.
It's just. And I'm happy for the Thunder because I feel like it was finally the stepping stone. Because I think that was the big criticism they got was they couldn't get over the hurdle. They don't have the experience. So, who knows? We'll see how that translates to the next series. But I have a little bit more faith in them in those like championship moments where like you need to know how to control the game.
Mhm.
But we'll see. 'Cause
And
that game didn't really come down to a close nitty gritty.
Yeah.
It was a blowout. But
and this will be the first series that Rudy Gobert actually faces a big man.
mm-hmm.
So, he's going to have to play not a yeah, exactly. So it'll definitely be interesting to see. I mean, I think the Thunder definitely should win that series. I mean, Ant could do Ant things, and Julius Randle's in great form. McDaniel's a phenomenal defender. Like Naz Reid, like you have guys all over that can match up. It's just they're gonna have to play some perfect basketball, or just the Thunder miss a ton of threes or something. Because when the Thunder are on fire like this, they're tough to beat. Like that defense, and when you can bring on guys off the bench that can defend and get some buckets, it's just makes it really tough.
Yeah, I'm hoping that honestly, I think the Pacers versus the Thunder would be a very fun series to watch. And I'm not saying I'm rooting for that, but I'm saying they both can play at such a high speed that I would love to see. Those games would end like 130 to 127 every single game. Like it would be a shootout, and I'd love to see how the Thunder deal with that. But I am rooting for the Knicks because Knicks fans have been through the ringer. They haven't won anything in
25 years. This is the furthest we've been.
Correct. That's why Jalen Brunson built the statue.
Right.
But we'll see. I think the series versus the Timberwolves is going to be tougher than they think.
Yeah, definitely.
I see why they make them minus 350, but I still just think that Timberwolves team is very good. Now they're pretty well rested. I mean, I know there was no Curry, but they ravaged the Warriors. That series was never close. I'm excited to see Anthony Edwards versus Shea. Either way, we're going to have somebody new in the NBA Finals. So
yeah. That is the fun thing. Like we have new teams, new faces, and it really, not to just bring LeBron randomly into this, but it makes you think he brought 8 consecutive years how hard that was, because now we have now it's a different team every year basically. Like it's
I did see that stat.
Just fun to think about.
It was like the first time in I forget however that we're gonna have 7 different champions in the past 7 years.
Yeah, it's the landscape's changed,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, it's fun for the parody. We have different things happening. Hoping my Knicks can break through.
I mean, yeah, like Doug said, even if they go to the finals, it's like it's gonna go bananas. If they win it, I don't even want to see.
Oh my
New York
gosh.
City might be burned.
Yeah, yeah. You might not want to go into the city that next week.
Robbie, would you go to the parade?
I mean, I guess it would be in the city. I could just take a train there, right?
Yeah, would you go?
Yeah. I mean, I'd go.
It'd
If
be
they
kind of
win.
sick.
Yeah.
I would need some clips of that.
That would be pretty
Bing
funny.
bonging everywhere.
Oh yeah. That would be a fun experience.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doug, if the Sixers won, would you go to a parade?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you don't got to plan on that one.
Yeah, you don't gotta worry about
it. I'm sorry.
But Austin, do you have a question for us today?
A question for you guys today. I actually thought about it, and then I was like, because we had technical difficulties last episode, I think that we should hand the floor over to Doug.
That is true.
What do you mean, hand the floor over to me?
Well, the last episode we recorded, technical difficulties never went up. So your question never got shared to the audience.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Did it go up?
No, Doug did not. No, it did not go up because Robbie was technical difficulties straight.
Oh, no. How am I just forget about this? What? Oh, man.
He did.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you should re-ask that question from last week, Doug.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question from last week was the top 3 best, cleanest signatures in your most recent opinion, and then the top 3 most sloppiest signatures, no effort, that sort of thing. Now, definitely as of most recent, a lot of these guys and players are having to sign more for Panini and Tops and everything like that, and stickers becoming more and more just kind of pumping out new products, especially Tops. So since last week I had my 3, within the past week and past couple days, there have been actually some new ones that I have seen. So I guess we could start. Do we want to go one at a time, or just kind of one person go at a time? What are we feeling?
We can go one at a time.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So I guess I will go first. Now, I showed this one recently, and I sent this to the guys, the boys, and I think this might be the worst signature of all time. Basketball. Do you have any guesses? Any guesses?
If it was recently, is it Christian Braun?
No, it's not. It's worse than
Okay.
that. I'm going to start this one off with probably the worst one. Anthony. This, I believe, is just done on purpose at this point. It has to be. It has to be a joke or a meme because it's just so blatant, obvious, what he's trying to do. And, even with him and Grady Dick doing, the jersey swap, it just seems so intentional at this point that, I don't even know how to, justify it. You know what I'm saying? But, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts when you see that?
It's creative.
I do think it's kind of hilarious. I also am kind of questioning how Peony's allowing him to do it. I do think it's very interesting how he can.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty blatant, but I mean, I guess he can get away with it because his initials are AB.
That's true.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised Antonio Brown never thought of this.
I don't think that's a B though. That's just
No, that's B. That's a B. What do you mean?
it just looks like is his jersey number 3? It looks like a 3 than a B, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Either way, it's just like I don't know. It seems intentional. I don't really know, but
Oh, it's definitely intentional.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Now I gotta find these. So let's kind of bounce.
You-
Let's actually bounce back and forth.
So for I got a bad one. I mean, I showed them last week this cam. Oh, the brightness.
Oh no.
This cam reddish,
Oh my gosh.
literally just a line,
Yeah.
just a straight line. It's basically a diagonal line, and for his origin autos, and some of them are a little better, but some of them it's literally just like a little like that, and then the line. So that's like no effort at all. He's just drawing. He's just going like whoop 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 whoop, and like that's
He's just
pretty
trying
bad.
to collect his paycheck as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's a lot of these guys now.
Yes. I had in one of my worst ones, I had the current or the reigning #1 overall draft pick, Cam Ward. It was just it was just C.W.
Yep.
Yep, not even
Man.
clean at all either. Kind of looks like chicken scratch. Yeah, I feel like if honestly I was an athlete, I'd want to make my signature look cool. But I guess after time it would kind of be very fatiguing, just like trying very hard on all those things. Because I don't even know how many of them, like each of them sign, or like what the number is specifically, but it's got to be 1,000, so.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot.
But at the same time, getting a paycheck to sign your name,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
sick. Might as well take some time with it.
Robbie, let me ask you: if you had $900, what's the first card you would buy, just off the top of your head?
$900,
Yeah.
man. Miles Garrett, NFL Shield 1 of 1.
Okay, so it wouldn't be the Marvin Harrison 9 out of 10.
Oh my, no, it would not be that.
It would not be this.
No.
See,
All right.
Wait, how much did that sell for?
Well, it's listed for 900. That's why I was asking.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
This is honestly like, you can't even justify this. And honestly, the thing is like I feel like most of these companies they can't say anything. Like you have no like
Yeah.
you can say, hey, fix your signature because they're just gonna be like, you know what, I'm not gonna sign, and then there's just gonna be a redemption, and it's not gonna get like I don't know what goes into these contracts of like,
Yeah.
can you actually, like, what are the consequences if you don't sign cards? I'm sure they could sue and fine them for
Yeah.
not signing cards. So then it's like, okay, bet, like I'm just gonna do it, and here you go. Like this is my you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they have.
didn't that happen with LaMelo?
Oh yeah, he had like a ton. All his cards were like redemptions, and it took like forever for him to
Yeah,
sign.
wasn't he now? Weren't they like threatening to sue him because he wasn't fulfilling?
Something
It's-
like that.
it
He
was
was
something
taking
like
like a
that.
long time.
But
And-
didn't he have a hand injury at one point? Was that why it was delayed? I feel like, or no?
I don't remember. I
I don't know. He probably wanted more money or something. Who knows?
I don't know
Sure.
why. I feel like at
I'll try
one
and find it.
it's like he hurt his hand and wrist and been in a cast. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I feel like it was at that point. But yeah, I do remember the whole debacle of like people like everything was a redemption for him, and then I think pretty soon like they all just started popping up and everything like that. But yeah, I do kind of get both sides, but at that point it's just like why even bother,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing right here from the somebody on Reddit, so very reliable source that said it was just because he wanted to get paid more. Which I guess would also definitely make sense, and I could see athletes
Yeah.
doing that. Especially when he was a household name already, like
Yeah,
so.
that's true. Yeah. This one actually I had sent to them earlier randomly because I was looking through. I just bought like a bunch of cards, and there's a card of this guy. I'm like, oh, I was looking him up, and this auto is kind of like the Cam Ward auto. It's literally just a C. It looks like a hook.
Colin Castleton.
Yeah, just a little.
There's a little something after the C.
Think that-
He
think-
moved it up a little bit.
He moved it up. It's
Yeah, he
a
moved
C.
it up.
That's worse than Cam Ward.
Yeah, that is worse. At least Cam Ward.
At least Cam Ward put a dot and a W.
Yeah, a little more time and effort into that one.
Yeah.
Doing a C is just crazy.
Yeah. But
My next one, it kind of looks like this person did not even know how to like hold a pen. It kind of looks they were holding it like full fist down and writing it. Joffrey Solano, like just look at like that. Actually looks like a toddler. Like it is
yeah.
unbelievable.
You just get the letters drawn out.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of convinced that it might have taken him a long time to do this based on how it's written. I see. I don't know if I can zoom in. You guys can tell this, but like, look at all like the little like.
Yeah,
lines.
it kind of looks like it was like
It
slowly
looked like he was
drawn.
trying to do that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look like he just went YS. So
Yeah,
that was.
This next one is honestly right there with you, Austin, except it's not as sloppy. Jatavion Sanders on the Panthers.
Oh, Jay, that's crazy. He just wrote his initials.
And like,
I mean, at least that one looks cleaner than Joffrey Solano because my God.
yeah, but there's even one where it's like his gold prism is just like, why is it so tiny? Why is it so tiny on the sticker? Like it's taking up like no space.
Well, that is another man who does that is Anthony Richardson with how tiny he does.
Crazy.
I actually I had two cards in front of me. I was just looking at. I'm like, yo, this one's like just literally just two initials so far spread apart.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to have my case next to me, so I'm gonna defend it. Really
hey, he used to sign like that.
That is not that small, Robbie.
No, that is good.
Perfect.
That is not how he currently
That's
signs.
a perfect signature. Nothing wrong with it. I might even be one of my best.
That honestly, after Panini Black, he started signing like look, this one's not even actually his Spectra is the one. I gotta pull that up. This is disappointing. I love you, Anthony Richardson, but look how tiny that is on the sticker.
You're really doing it. You're doing him dirty by how much you're zooming in, Robbie.
I'm sorry. I love you, AR, but
yeah, I don't even know why you go that small though. It kind of makes.
Yeah.
Why is it that easier just to go that? You're not saving that much time.
No way.
I don't know.
Microscopic seconds, if anything.
Used to sign better.
Yeah, as I show.
But,
I guess my last bad signature here is it kind of just looks like waves, but I guess the man's initials are MW, so you kind of can just scribble up and down all the way through. Moritz Wagner. He really honestly did like half an M and half W, or just full M and a third of W. So either way you want to look at it, terrible. I mean, I don't know how Panini can authenticate that. I could do that when I was 4 years old. Yeah, so that one, those three were like the worst that I saw.
Yeah.
And all yours, guys. Those were also.
Yeah. And there's plenty of others. Let us know below if you guys have seen any other terrible ones that you remember.
Yeah, so going into the clean autographs, typically you see a lot of more of the Hall of Famers with the more like clean signatures and everything like that. I know I mentioned one last time we recorded, and based on circumstances out of our control, that episode is no longer available. So I'm gonna try and find some newer ones. Just briefly, looking on my phone now to clean signatures. I always liked Ricky Henderson's autograph. Oh boy, I always liked his.
Oh wow, yeah, that is clean.
It is clean, and it always stayed consistent and everything like that. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I think that's a clean one.
Yeah, I like that one.
From what I've seen, I think you're totally right. It tends to be like the Hall of Famers that like went through all this like time and effort to write their signature. But that also has me thinking, is that because you think that like nowadays, like obviously the athletes growing up are younger than us now, that like we didn't really like write our name that much. Like I feel like it's more so like typing your name.
Hmm.
So and they also don't teach cursive anymore. So now it's like the
That's
even the
true.
kids, the next I would say like 4 years of athletes probably only like learned cursive just to like sign autographs, or they just never learned it at all.
Yeah.
But that brings me to my point here. One of my favorite signatures is a 24-year-old on the Yankees, Anthony Volpe. Young man, and that signature is just
That's clean.
yeah, it's just very clean. And I don't know if he was blessed with good handwriting or he actually takes his time with it. Either way, though, he doesn't have to do that. Like he could just do the AV like everybody else. But he probably grew up maybe collecting and appreciated when athletes took their time with signatures. So I'm thinking maybe he just decided he wanted to make his signature clean for people that collect him. So
Hmm.
I can
Hey,
respect that.
that's a respectable guy.
Yeah.
One I like this guy. I mean, it's nothing crazy his auto, but I kind of like Messi's auto. I just like how he does like the
Leo.
swoop across and then the Leo. Um, I just think it looks clean, and some autos of his are better than others. But I mean, as far as I just feel like it's just like not like anything crazy like those guys. Like those guys have like beautiful handwriting. Like this is just like a quick swoop, but I like it for it being a quicker auto.
That's fair. I could see that.
Especially Messi is a guy that, when I'm also thinking about the cleanest and coolest autographs, I'm also taking into account like a lot of these guys are still doing like lots of autograph
Hmm.
signings. Like Messi, regardless of how popular he is, like he does a lot of private signings. Same with a lot of these like Hall of Famers and you know Julius Irving, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Like a lot of these legends, like they still sign a ton. So it's kind of nice to appreciate that even though they are still doing so much, and they're honestly probably signing just as much as these new players coming into the league, right? That they're still taking the time to sign, and just even though the integrity is still there, you know what I'm saying? They're not.
Yeah.
Well, someone's paying their hard-earned money for this, so they're gonna do everything they can to put their best effort into it.
Yeah. It's respectable.
Yeah. Looking at this now, this is just another clean one. Jim Rice again, baseball, nice and clean. Just something about like it's always consistent. It always looks the same. Um, just like something about the script and like even him, Ken Griffey. It's always the baseball guys. Like Austin mentioned, Volpe. Like I feel like those guys always put the best effort into their signatures. Compared to football or basketball, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. My last clean signature happens to also be a baseball player. Oh wait, no, this is not my last one. This is my second to last one. Mariano Rivera has. I feel like he's just kind of renowned. Has always had a good signature, um, and it seems like he was definitely just blessed with like the really good handwriting.
Yeah.
And the more I look at it, the more I'm like, I don't even think I could do that if I had like an hour to like sign a card. So the fact he had to probably pump out a good amount of these and was still able to make it look that clean is impressive.
Hmm.
I
I
really
like it.
like that signature. He's Yankees legend, and yeah, it's always nice, clean, and consistent. Definitely really good to see. I like it.
Yeah, since you guys were mentioning baseball players, and I was like, oh, I'm curious what Barry Bonds, and I like his auto. It looks nice. Another like clean one. I think it is like you guys were saying, like they don't teach cursive in school anymore. It's like also these guys are signing so many. Like I'm sure, like Jamar Chase or Daniels, they're signing like a million stickers, so it's always something crazy. So it's just like so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess for my last one, just looking here, it's funny because I saw Robbie posted a TikTok of his recent card haul, and this was one of the players in it. And honestly, it's not like that crazy of a signature, but it does look pretty clean. It's Kenny Galladay with the Kenny G. That's pretty
Kenny
clean.
G.
Man, robbed the Giants of 70 million.
Yeah, like,
Play.
I don't know why. For
Giants
it to be
legend.
like I don't know. It just looks nice and
It
clean.
does. It does look nice.
Yeah, I'd also like to add to that, Robbie. The Giants robbed that man of a career. So
That's crazy. this guy barely. Ah.
I don't know. He went to the Giants all of a
I,
sudden.
I won't go back. I won't go back. We're in the good days with neighbors.
Yeah, weak. My last clean auto. Me and Doug actually were on the same track with this last time. Was the kanji autographs that like the Asian players do, where they do like their native signature. I guess I'll say.
Yeah.
I just think that it's really cool to like see how they write their name, and it also just looks so much cooler than like I guess everything that we're used to seeing. So I'm curious. I wonder if like the Japanese fans are like, oh, the American auto when they see it. Definitely not. Definitely not a chance.
I feel like
I don't know. I just
those
think
ones
they're
gotta be rare. Yeah. Yeah, that is a really cool one. It's a cool feature to have.
Yeah, I think they go for like way more than his.
Yeah, it's something crazy. I think.
Yeah, I don't know what the multiplier is, but.
Right. Yeah. For my last one, I actually, I'm a little biased towards this one, but I like how he used to sign. Diego Forlan, now he just does his initials, but here you have the DF and then you have the Forlan with the 10, so it's pretty cool. Has his number in there. Yeah, I mean, there's other soccer players I was trying to think of that have good autos, but I just, off the top of my head, I just think of Messi, obviously, and then because I collect Forlan.
Yeah.
Yeah, his is okay. I mean,
yeah, probably the best ever, my guess. Now, actually, Robbie, do you think is there a difference in price for when Diego Forlan signs his cleaner auto versus his initials, or no?
Not really, because most of his are like, he doesn't really have it in a ton of sets, so I feel like it's about the same. Because for whatever reason, I think it was in. Let me double check what year that is. Yeah, 1920. So I think it was like the year after he changed, and that was like the first year besides his early World Cup ones. I think he also did the initials. So maybe just in this set he decided to do that, but yeah, I don't think there's too much of a difference just because he doesn't really have a lot to begin with.
What about you collecting wise? Or do you
not? I honestly don't mind just because I'm like anything cool of his I'll buy.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah. But to switch gears a bit, there's some big NFL news we have, which is we're deep in the off season, but people are getting paid. So the San Francisco 49ers, they made two big contracts. First of all, they, of course, Fred Warner, like everyone knew, they'd obviously keep that guy in town. But the big one was Brock Purdy. People weren't sure if he was going to end up getting a Sam Darnold-like contract or get up into the top 7 paid, which he ended up getting. 5 years, $265 million. It's a lot of money, but it's definitely interesting that they decide to give him that much. With he's definitely a good quarterback, but kind of the value in him is like you want to surround him with a lot of great players. But it'll definitely be interesting to see because the 49ers have locked up Kittle long term, Fred Warner, they've Trent Williams for a few years, so they've locked up some of the big guys. But what do you guys think about Brock Purdy's massive deal?
Having him as my dynasty quarterback, I love to see it. I think it was like, let's be real, like the fact that he took him to the Super Bowl. Like a lot of these guys getting paid the big money haven't done that, so it's kind of like hard to justify not paying him when a lot of guys are getting paid just as much that haven't been there or got to the same point as him and didn't win, right? So, I mean, is he worth $53 million a year based off of last season? No, absolutely not. He struggled. He was hurt. But you do kind of have to pay the guy that's leading your team. Every Sunday he's the most important position. They get paid the most, right? I think it would not have been as encouraging if he got a significantly lower contract. but I can see both ends to it. So I think it will hopefully, encourage him and help the team go in the right direction and definitely have a better season than last year.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised that he actually ended up getting that much. I thought they were gonna give him a little more of like a bargain contract, just because to me, Brock Purdy's a fine quarterback. I mean, he's accurate. I don't think his decision making's bad. I don't think he's a superstar though. And like when you're getting paid around the levels of like you're getting paid more than Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, like guys like that, it's like I don't know, but I mean, you can't argue with the results. Like he has taken them far places, so I know why they obviously locked him up. I just thought it was going to be for a better price than what they gave him because he does seem very much like a product of his environment and coaching, rather than like skill.
Yeah.
Actually, skills are wrong. I just don't think that he's a superstar. He just happens to be in a very good place. But he's also the same thing about Tom Brady, product of his assistant quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is because, I mean, in the end, it's hard to find a quarterback and he runs the system. Shanahan loves him running the system. He runs the system well. Those guys, I mean, the quarterback contracts we know are just going to keep going up and up. That's why these teams have been the last couple of years trying to lock guys up because they're going to just have to pay more. The cap's going to be over $300 million next year. So this contract, I mean, it's a lot of money. Like I expected somewhere in the 40 to 45, they'd maybe be able to get him under, but I understand it's respect to him and his agent. Like he does, like that is respect to go from Mr. Irrelevant to one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, $265 million contract. Like that's a pretty awesome story. It's more than we thought, and like he's in that tier of quarterbacks as like more of a product of the system, like you're saying, and the guys you surround him with. But you surround him with those guys, and this 49ers team has stars, so
yeah.
And especially if Tua is getting $53 million, like not to throw shade to him, but I mean, I'm like if I'm him, I at least want that per year.
Well, and then would you rather have Tua, or would you rather have Brock Purdy over Tua on your team?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless I have,
Unless you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Well, either way. Like I'm just I like Tua, and like I was with him like when he was getting overhated on, but I'm like it got to a point where people were hyping way too much, but I think it's in the end the 49ers are trying to win some football games now, and like they had a down year last year, which they shouldn't have been as bad as they were, but injuries happened, all that. They lost Greenlaw and Hufanga in free agency. They lost guys so they'd be able to pay Purdy, and they bring him in. They just got to draft. If they keep drafting well, it really doesn't matter. But in the end, right now he is. I pulled up so Dak is the highest. Then is Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, and then Brock in per year value.
Yeah,
so
well,
that means one of those, if I'm not mistaken, one of those guys besides Purdy's been to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow.
Yes. Yeah.
Good point, Doug. Good point.
Two out of the 10 have been to the Super Bowl, right? So, like, I mean, there's no other way to you can't say he got overpaid because he's been further than like a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I have a hard time attributing like that. Only, I mean, he obviously played his role perfectly well, but I'm like. I think it's not as bad as people think, especially with the market going up. I agree with that, and it's like you can trust this guy to operate the system. Like he may not go above and beyond, but he's gonna execute, and he's been a good player for a few years, and they still have Ayuk and Kittle around him. They're getting older, and Ayuk's off an ACL, Pearsall, so. It'll definitely be interesting.
Let me ask, what was what was I'm trying to think of like the contract that like started all of this. Like,
Jimmy Garoppolo back in the day when he signed the highest quarterback contract when he got traded to the 49ers.
Right.
I feel like that was just like a time I guys remember. We were like, oh my, Jimmy Garoppolo is the highest. He just got like 100. It was only 125 million or whatever at the time. But I feel like that kind of kicked off like the opening wave before the cap went up, and then obviously last couple of years we had so many of the guys that were drafted in the 2017. Like Mahomes signed his big contract, then after that
They did
all
his
these
right.
other great quarterbacks. Yeah, they did it right, signing him quickly.
Was it 10 years, 500
10
million?
years, 500. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember when that happened, people were like, holy crap, like they just gave him that amount. But like now, he is, I'm looking
It's
at
a
this
bargain.
list, he's the 14th highest paid
Yeah.
player in the NFL. So
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, that's the problem, is just like, it doesn't really matter if you think it's an overpay or not, because like Robbie said, the cap
Yeah.
goes up and up, so the contracts go up and up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Jordan Love is making $55 million a year.
Yeah.
He played really
Yeah.
well 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year.
And Dak has completely like no one's like Josh Allen could have asked for like 70 million if he
Yeah.
wanted, but he took a little less actually, which is Dak. He's at 60 million. The top. That's a lot. I mean, Dak's a great quarterback, obviously, but 60 million's a lot.
He's a great quarterback.
Well, very good quarterback.
He's the
Well,
third- he's the
I
third
like
best quarterback.
I like that he's in our division because I don't gotta worry about the Cowboys winning anything. So
He's not a great quarterback. He's the third best quarterback in your division.
I mean,
Maybe fourth behind James.
it's close between him and Hurts. I feel
No,
like, but
we can't say it's
realistic.
you-
I think it
can't
definitely
say
as an
so.
individual, if you put him on that team, I feel like it would be
Yeah,
as
but anyone
as a
can-
passer. He
like,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
as a rush, Jalen Hurts a run through.
yeah.
So it's like,
I'm just saying. No, I'd say Hurts. I'm just saying you could definitely debate it in certain years. Like Dak last year was not
That looked
great.
good.
Yeah, but when he was good, I'm saying like
Okay.
it was a down year. I think. Yeah, well, I mean,
the
we'll
Cowboys
have.
down
You know,
here,
another person on this
Tony
list.
Romo. Like, they
I
have
didn't.
had an up year in many of years, correct? And
What'd
Tony
you s-
Romo. It's about Tony Romo.
Oh, he said something. What did you say about?
I said they haven't had an up year since like Tony Romo and like Des Bryant.
I mean, they've had really good regular seasons. They just collapsed in the playoffs.
Yeah, well,
It's-
it's a terrible
it's-
year.
It's classic Cowboys. I mean, they'll just always do that.
Well, they won some rings.
Yeah, back when we didn't even exist.
This guy's hater. Look at this. This guy's hater feels coming out.
I
But,
love
you
hating
know
on the
what?
Cowboys.
Just thinking about contracts here, another very overpaid player that I'm looking at. Robbie's a fan of him, Trevor Lawrence.
Oh gosh,
Yep.
it has to be this
Trevor
year,
Lawrence.
man.
It
It has to be this year.
Kyle Pitts.
I.
It's got to be this year.
It has to be because coming out of the draft, he was a generational prospect. Like everyone knew it. Everyone
Since
wanted
Andrew
the
Luck.
number one pick. Yeah, like since Andrew Luck, probably the highest rated
Yeah, for
prospect.
sure.
You know, he's like 6'6", a cannon. You know,
Prototype quarterback.
athletic pro. Yeah, exactly. And it's like he's been in his career. He's been like good, not
Mid.
to the next level. It's like I want
not
him.
that.
I've been waiting. I'm like, when's the breakout? When's is it gonna? He had the bat. You know, obviously came into his career. You know, bad coach, Urban Meyer. All right, that year didn't. And then he threw
his stats.
25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. His first year, right? Sophomore.
No, his first year, Robbie.
Or no, second year.
Yeah.
First year it was bad. I'm
12
throwing that
TDs,
out.
17 picks.
Yeah.
Then it was 25
Yeah.
and 8 and 4,000
Yeah.
yards. His by far best season.
Then was it like 20 and like 12?
14, 21 and 14.
Yeah.
And then this past year, I mean, doesn't
He was hurt, but yeah, this year he's primed. He has everything around him. He has Travis Hunter coming in with Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas a monster.
Brian Thomas is so good. So it needs to be this year, Trevor. I've been on the boat. I will continue to be on the boat, but you better ball out because, hey, and Brenton Strange, fantasy sleeper.
Now, would you rather have Trevor Lawrence or Brock Purdy?
I mean, if I'm starting a team over, I'd rather Trevor Lawrence.
This seems biased now.
I mean, if I'm starting a team from scratch and don't have, some of the best yak players in the league, I mean,
Now you're kind of diminishing Brock Purdy again.
no, not to diminish Brock, but I'm like, if I'm starting over,
I'll
and
tell you this right now. I think if you
I don't get Shanahan.
No. I think if you flip those positions, I think Brock Purdy's numbers look a lot better than Trevor Lawrence's numbers.
In Jacksonville?
Yeah.
I disagree. I think Trevor Lawrence in Shanahan's system.
No, it would be very good. But I also think anybody in a Shanahan system.
Yeah, I mean, almost anybody.
Almost anybody. Almost anybody.
We've seen guys over the as long as he needs that quarterback that's
never got a chance.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is. And they traded all those picks, but he never got his shot. And Brock Purdy just came in there. So, I have a lot of respect for Brock Purdy and, everything he's done. 7th round pick to, Mr. Irrelevant to getting paid $265 million. That's extremely impressive. And
he's going to go down as
shout out to him.
Mr. Irrelevant ever.
Oh, yeah?
He's got to.
I mean, there's Swag Kelly.
I don't think Robbie has a lot of bias on Trevor Lawrence because he needs him to have a good season. So
I am Trevor Lawrence biased. I know a lot of people hate on him now, so a lot of people might hate on that, but I'm going to be biased to him, and if this year is terrible, I'm gonna have to let go of my Trevor Lawrence love because I've given him enough support. He has everything around him. I've invested too much money in his cards. It needs to happen.
I still find it so crazy that I obviously have not looked at Trevor Lawrence cards as of recent, but I'm sure there's probably some random auction right now on eBay, and someone's probably spending over $5,000-$10,000 on a card edition, something like that, or there's probably been a recent sale, and it's I'm telling you, if he goes off week 1 for 450 yards, 3 touchdowns, something absurd like that, it's just gonna be the whole script is gonna be flipped. They're gonna be he's back and all this stuff. It's so it's insane, and honestly, makes it fun to kind of hear all this talk of if he doesn't play good this year, he's he's done, he's washed, and all this stuff. But it takes 1 week for that whole script just to be flipped.
Yeah, I mean, I just said that to embrace debate, and I know that Robbie's a big Trevor Lawrence guy. Though Trevor Lawrence, I agree with Robbie that it's this year or never, and I also thought he was going to be such a problem. And being in the same division as him, but he also does kind of carve us up a little bit whenever he plays us. So, but everybody kind of carved us up when they played us. New regime, though. New regime.
Hey. Yeah, and it really is it's just been.
Wait. Let me ask you a question. If you're starting a franchise right now, no bias.
Okay.
AR or Trevor?
Me?
Both of you.
No bias at all, Anthony Richardson. No bias. Zero bias.
Those are two guys I really like. I mean, I feel like if I'm being careful for my job, I'd lean Trevor. But if I'm going for all the marbles, then I could see definitely going. But I'm just if I had jobs on the line, I'm probably Trevor Lawrence's floor is higher. And he could provide a safer, he could at least play mediocre football. Richardson, I'm a believer, and it's got to be this year for him. We see the next step, but
I mean, to be fair, I've never seen Trevor Lawrence make a throw like this.
That was one of the greatest throws ever witnessed.
Breadbasket touchdown. Yeah, that was week 1. After coming back from injury, in that moment in time, I was like, oh, we're good. It's kind of like the Colin Cowherd moment of Ben Simmons.
We're good. We're good.
On. We got Ben Simmons.
Yeah, and he had that seam to Doolin too.
Oh yeah. No, Anthony Richardson's one of those guys where it's you'll see him make the throw that's like, oh my god, I've never seen anybody else make that throw, and then he'll also have you thinking like, wow, I could have made that throw.
Yeah,
That's the thing about Anthony
like
Richardson. Um, I'll tell you this: he looks jacked this offseason, and
hey,
I hope he was in the lab working on his throwing motion. I know he was, but I hope that it translates to the field. Um, if he can't beat out Daniel, although I kind of think that the Colts front office is a little bit biased against him. I don't know why, but like a lot of the things that they were saying going into this season, where they're like, you know, we're looking for just like whoever's the most like consistent and consistently accurate in like these. Whereas like it just sounded like, oh wow, that's just Daniel Jones. But
yeah,
like I, my whole thing defending Anthony Richardson was like, I think that there is throws that you can be taught. Like there's things you can be taught to do, which is like obviously make those short passes, and there's just things that like just come naturally to people. Like the big
mm-hmm.
plays, like a big play machine just kind of seems like that just came to them. Like the Patrick Mahomes and the Josh Allens. I think Anthony Richardson just has that. Like I think he just has that big play in him that Daniel Jones will never have. So I just
Yeah.
think you got to take your
You,
time with Richardson. You drafted him knowing that he was going to be a very raw, like take your time with him
hmm
quarterback that needed to be polished up. And I think that's the
yeah,
key word here is polishing that just he needs to do to just refine himself.
yeah,
Because he absolutely has the talent to be a, one of the greatest quarterbacks in this league. Like his arm, like his throw power is unbelievable,
yeah.
unbelievable. And he
Everyone
can
wants
throw
a
to people.
yeah. Everyone wants a project quarterback until it's time to actually work on the project because I mean with Richardson you at least got it like he needs this year like this is supposed to be like this is when Josh Allen took his next step 2 years of bad play like 55% completion. I know Richardson was lower but it was 2 years of that, and then he kind of took the next step in year three. So this should be the natural progression. I mean, he's still one of the youngest quarterbacks in the league, like
Exactly.
22 years old. That
He can
throw,
play his rookie
honestly,
season.
it's probably it's definitely a top 10 throw in NFL history just in terms of like difficulty, like falling backwards, just throwing it 70 yards,
Tripping.
falling, tripping. Like it's one of the greatest throws ever. And then you see he has those moments combined with some head scratching ones. So we're hoping he can dial it. It's just the easy stuff because he's also so good in the pocket, like moving and like avoiding pressure. Like that's
Just
why
needs to be polished.
that's another thing. Like why I'm like I definitely like keep believing too because it's like if he was a mess inside the pocket, like was bad like feeling guys like defenders,
Yeah.
rushers coming right. Like, but he's good at that stuff. So I feel like he can dial it in. I'm hoping back against the wall, he's like, all right, I'm gonna show these guys.
I hope that's what the whole. Well, I know that's why they wanted to bring a QB competition. I really hope that he
You
just.
don't want Danny starting.
I know I don't. Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got onto this topic. Oh, I know
Oh,
this
Brock
topic.
Purdy.
we
Yeah.
Brock Purdy. Then we talked about Trevor Lawrence, and then it
Yeah, I know
kind of
that they are.
spiraled out. But I think it came up with some good conversation. I mean, it's definitely like the thing with quarterback evaluation. It's like it's always so tough because you have obviously guys who are on great teams, guys that are in bad situations, guys that have like all the ability, but don't have the necessarily the team around them, and it's like the thing is you can really make it to the Super Bowl. Technically, you can make it with anyone if Jimmy G made it to the Super Bowl. So
And Eli
it's
Manning,
like
two of them.
it's all comes down to the right situation. Like some of these guys, great quarterbacks, may never make a Super Bowl, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's there only so many guys can make it, and there's a lot of talent in this league, but there's also a lot of like not a lot of long leashes for some of these young guys, and it's like it's definitely hopefully we see big years from Bryce and from AR.
Yeah. I just think that that the whole short leash just became because people think it's the norm that like C.J. Stroud, and now we had Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Just came in and were just phenomenal
Yeah.
in their rookie season. It's like that's not
Yeah.
how it goes for everybody.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning was terrible his rookie year. Like
28
sometimes
picks.
it's an adjustment.
Yeah.
It's an adjustment. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know some of the fan base has turned on him. It makes me kind of sick that they want to see Daniel Jones start, but
They do not want that.
I will not give up on him until he is not on the Colts roster. Like he's just one of those guys where I just see it like he's got that dog in him.
Right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But-
Other NFL news, we had schedule release. And in that schedule release, there was actually some drama surrounding my Colts again. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. So they did this Minecraft-themed like schedule release going by week of their opponents. They had to shortly take it down after. They claimed that it was because Microsoft didn't want them to do it. I'm not so sure. It might have been perhaps the controversy surrounding Tyreek Hill when he was arrested last season. So week 1, we're playing the Dolphins, and we have a dolphin swimming in the water in a Tyreek Hill jersey, and the Coast Guard pulls up on him. It's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
It is, honest to God, though, I thought it was so funny. Like, I thought it was hilarious. And Tyreek Hill actually tweeted about it after, being like, God, you guys should have left it up. Like, it was funny. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I mean, nothing happened from it, obviously, but it was just like...
They're like, I saw the tweets of like they were apologizing, like there was like press releases. I'm like,
Yeah, well, people got mad about it because it's like...
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
too
but
soon.
side note, that Tyreek Hill celebration with the handcuffs right after when he scored that same day, that might be one of the greatest celebrations just based on everything happening. Like, that's pretty electric.
I'm curious to see what he does against us week 1 if he scores. There's probably gonna be some sort of something spicy in his celebration after that video.
I can see that.
But yeah, how you guys feeling about your schedules?
I mean, the Giants schedule, I'll
Yeah.
tell you guys, it's a gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
It is really tough. Like, somehow we ended up having the hardest schedule in the league. I mean, obviously because we are in our division, you know, we have some good teams in there, and then we also are drawing the Chiefs division, the AFC West. Like, it's not gonna be easy. I do think it's gonna end up we're gonna do better than people think. But I'm in. The defense is gonna have to. The defense, I'm really excited about. They're gonna have to be phenomenal, and they can keep us in games. And you know, we saw a couple years ago when we were winning all those close games, so maybe something like that happens. But I think the range will be. I mean, between like I feel like we're gonna be closer to 7-10 between there and 9-8. I feel like we could get to that if things went right in certain games. 8 and 9, I feel like around that it could happen. I mean, I know it definitely be tough, but I'm gonna believe just because I think this defense can ball
Robbie,
out.
then I ask you, are you going to be betting Giants over 5.5 wins? Because
I saw that. I think I should.
I
mean, it's minus 125. They are favored to win more than that.
Hey, I'll throw a buck on it.
Yeah, why not? Dog, how about the Falcons? I actually haven't seen the Falcons schedule.
So week 1, they play the Buccaneers. That's a loss. I can already tell you. I feel like we never.
Those games are always interesting, though.
I know, but like the fact, like Baker, Mike Evans.
Are you on the road?
No, we're home, but still, dude. Like, they are just
Penix legacy game.
Buccaneers. Like Mike Evans, I remember I traded him in Dynasty for like a bag of rocks, and I regret. I did it in the off season right before. I think it was maybe a year or two back. But like anyway, just like the Buccaneers, Baker, Mike, Bucky, and why am I blanking on my other Dynasty running back? Oh my gosh, what's his name?
Rashad White.
Yeah, Rashad White. Like they are just so good, and their defense is like they have like I feel like they have good linebackers. So like. I don't know. I feel like we never play well against them. But anyway, where was my list? I'm already blank. Well, I went too So, it's just showing me scores from last season. I don't know what's going on here.
Mm.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they
Uh,
have the Vikings next after that. I mean, that should be an interesting one. JJ McCarthy's first. His because he obviously missed last year with his torn ACL, and Penix coming into year 2 as well. So that could be fun, or it could just end up being like one of those rookie games, like where it's like a 13-10 game because both guys are raw. But that could be a fun one.
yeah, I think I'm looking forward to. Obviously, like I don't really care about the Panthers games, like the Commanders, like Jaden Daniels will be nice. The Bills game that will be interesting. Obviously, Bills are one of the best contenders in the league, so that will be fun to see how they play against. But I'm looking forward to that Week 10 matchup where we're at Olympic Stadium, Austin.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't want to preview my uh, predictions, but I do have that one chalked up as a W.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have a little friendly wager. That game is also
Sure.
at 9:30 in the morning. Um, is this
Of
one
course it is.
overseas? It has to be, right?
Yeah, no, it's Germany. It's
Okay.
Germany.
I was trying to figure out
We
where
just had
that
a
was.
classic 9:30 kickoff. That'd be crazy.
But
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Doug, you
no.
guys just said 7.5 wins. Over or under?
I think honestly, I think we can get over. I think I think the second half, like we're playing the Saints twice. I mean, I don't not
Yeah, that is
like
pretty
Yeah.
true.
you know what I'm saying. We're playing
Yeah.
them. Honestly, I feel pretty confident. I feel like the Saints is always a game where I just walk in, I'm like, bro, it's the Saints, and then somehow we lose or something like that. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
I can see 7.5.
division games, man.
I think Drake had a great season last year, and I only expect him to do better. I think Drake London is the future of the league. I'm like Justin Jefferson, who? You need to explain. That's how I
Yeah.
feel.
Well, Vegas does agree with you because they're minus 135 to go over 7.5.
Yeah.
Now, my Colts here. I won't go game by game, but I'll say this: I do have us going 9-7 into the last week against the Texans. A very
Uh-huh.
familiar spot that just seems to we just keep getting to. Um, we do open up against the Dolphins. We haven't won a week 1 game in I don't know how many years. It's got to be like 8 or 9. We have not won in week 1 in probably 8 or 9 years now at this
Wow.
point.
Damn.
Yeah, crazy. I don't know what happens, but we got to beat the Dolphins. We're at home
Man.
for it as well. It's got to be loud. Vegas does have us set at 7.5 wins as well, which I think is a little crazy. I think our defense got a lot better. Um, I don't know. I tell myself this every year. I think this is the year. I guess the only reason Vegas does have us like that is just because of the QB carousel. Like we don't know who's going to be starting and who's going to be on the bench.
Mhm.
I'm assuming 7.5 is for Daniel Jones. If it was Anthony Richardson, it'd probably be 9.5. That'd be my guess. Um, it's just our offense. Like we added Tyler Warren, and I loved our receiving core last year. Still, like I think we just have 4. We have 3 definitively like solid receivers, and Adonai Mitchell can definitely be very good. He's
Always
forget that
open.
to be a wide receiver 4. You have a good receiving core. Like
Higher than that after this year.
we'll see. Chris had a very good year last year.
He did.
I don't think he's going to get above Josh Downs or Michael Pittman, but
Nah.
Michael Pittman did have a down season
That's
last year,
so-
battling through back injury.
Trade Pittman.
Huh? Yeah.
Send Pittman.
A captain?
Let's give Adonai his run.
Yeah. I mean, we do have the Rams. I think that'll be tough. I'm excited to face the Broncos week 2, honestly. I'm very excited. I think we should have beat them last year. I think that Jonathan Taylor touchdown they called back was a load of baloney.
Oh yeah, that was I remember that, and they had all the momentum, the Colts, and then
Yeah,
they
no,
they also had that
I'm ready. To face
Adonai
that
threw a
guy.
pick six.
Yeah, yes, he did. What
Trick play.
The
It was to
Bonito or something?
Yeah, it was him or was it him or Cooper? That it was. It was one of them. It might have been
one of
Bonito
them.
too. Yeah.
One of the, yeah, they had just been making plays all game. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But we do have teams like the Raiders and the Cardinals. The Chargers will be tough on the road.
Yeah.
Same with going into Arrowhead. But I'll say this: this might not be true, but I think we are undefeated against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. I think so.
In
Interesting.
his entire career?
Yes. Let's see. He is 0-2 against the Colts in the regular season. He's defeated all other 31 teams in the NFL during his career. The Colts are the only one that he has not beat yet.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Patty Mahomes, Daniel Jones, legendary matchup.
oh no.
Nah, that won't. But
Man, yeah, our schedule it's gonna be so tough. I'm just the more like I just look at least we play the Saints, at least we got that. But I mean, I'm really excited for our defense. I mean, I guess this will be we're getting a real test this year because of how good this D line can be, and like I hope they're able to show everyone, and hoping the offense can just stay as mistake free as possible, and let Malik Neighbors cook.
how did you guys even end up with a gauntlet schedule?
It's because I mean like the NFC East obviously because the Commanders and then the Eagles, but then we also play the AFC West and they have the Chiefs. It's just our turn to play that division, so we are playing the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, so that brings up the win percentage a lot. And then we have we also have the NFC North. We had the Lions, the Packers. It's like we're the Vikings. So that's already so many teams that were high up in the league and wins. But I think it's gonna go better than people think. I mean, I could be being an optimistic Giants fan right now, but I think this defense could be something special this pass rush. And I'm like, they could put up numbers.
They could,
but.
We've seen the Giants.
It's gonna have to be like that though. Our defense is gonna have to play like that, and our offense is gonna have to not be turning the football over a lot. Scattaboo times Tracy. Let's get a little just feed Malik and Theo Johnson.
Say this. I think the Giants could win. What you were saying, 8 or 9. I don't know about that. I think they'll win 7 games with Jameis if he plays. If it's Russ. Vegas is probably going to get their money with. They probably win 5 games.
No.
You keep saying no. I don't know, Robbie. Russell is terrible.
I mean, he's not great, but I feel like it's going to end up being. I feel like we're at least getting 7.
At least 7.
At least 7. That's what I'm thinking.
I want that to be on the record now. At least 7 wins.
Barring catastrophic injuries to stars.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
We should
at least so.
We should each make one lock bet that if it's Robbie thinks you're gonna get at least 7. All right, I'll bet $5. That's not gonna happen. We should pick one before the season starts.
Yeah. We'll do that. Yeah, in a future episode, maybe during the summer when we have not a lot extra to talk about. We'll figure something out for that, and because. That'll be fun, and especially we'll get to see our guys in training camp and stuff. So
that is true because my season could go out the window if Daniel Jones is starting. That's all I'm gonna be.
Yeah, it'll be the most mediocre check down football you've ever seen, with a little bit of running at least.
Yeah,
not as good as running as they are.
No.
Let me ask you if you start winning with Daniel Jones, are you going to be mad?
No. Well, I had this conversation with some of my other friends. Daniel Jones is just going to have to win me over. Going into it, I'm going to be sitting there thinking, this stinks. This guy's terrible. Why is he starting for a football team right now? But if Daniel Jones were to come in and look like a superstar and we're winning games, then I wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't be mad. I would probably be an Indiana Jones supporter.
So what's like
But
the threshold? Like if he starts week 1 and they win 4 in a row, has he won you over? If they're 4 and
if we
0,
were, if we started 4-0, let's see who that first four would be. So if he beat the Dolphins, Broncos, Titans, and Rams,
yes. Like, at what point are you like, I'm buying my?
honestly, I might need 5-0. I think we'd have to beat the Raiders after that.
Okay. So it's more over like, let's say, or so it's more about wins than performance.
Well,
if he
now that's where I'm gonna get you because
okay.
if we're 5-0, but Daniel Jones is throwing like 2 picks a game, then I'm just gonna be thinking this is not because of Daniel Jones. This is just because other players in the team. Like if Jonathan Taylor's rushing for 200 yards every game, or $150 and 2 touchdowns, I'm gonna be like, well, I mean, Anthony Richardson could be doing this exact same thing right now.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna, so I'm not gonna go. It's totally based on record. I also do need to see good performances.
Okay.
I won't say great. They have to be good. Like I'm not gonna want to like bleach my eyeballs after or during the games.
That's fair.
Fair
Yeah,
point.
I mean, it's like the thing is, I mean, like Danny, he can give you some game manager ball. You know, you'll get that. It's just if you're not scheming things up properly, you saw last year with the Giants and like every other year besides his rookie year in like 2022, like it's not great unless you kind of scheme things up right for him. But going back to the Giants real quick, I will say Jackson Dart, he's gonna get in sometime this year, even though he has a lot to clean up. He's definitely gonna get like, especially if Dable and Schoen are like, our jobs are on the line this year, obviously, and backs against the wall. They're like, all right, these guys ain't cutting it. It's like we think Jackson's ready. They'll throw him in there at some point.
I think it'll be earlier than people think.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
like my gut feeling. I don't know why.
Yeah. I think he's gonna. They're gonna hopefully have him. I mean, they'll have him ready by that point. Hopefully, and it's gonna, especially if they're fighting for their jobs. It's like they're like, you're not gonna get to work with Jackson Dart next year. They at least want to see the positive signs. So, and that's the tough thing about the schedule. Like we could start like 1-4 or something, or it could be rough. So it'll definitely be interesting to see like how long of a leash they'll. I'm sure Russ and Jameis, they'll get some time, but it's like you're just getting ready for your future with Dart, hopefully. And
Let me ask you this: is like this the season where Russ is like transitioning into like that veteran backup role, where he's just gonna start to turn into Jameis, and he's gonna come in only when the starting quarterback's hurt? Because that's still pretty crazy to me. That like it had to have been. Is it been like less than 5 seasons since he was like still going off in Seattle? Like it hasn't been that terrible.
Yeah.
And he was still. I get it. Like maybe he's like lost a little bit off of edge off how good he was being in like the Super Bowl and everything. But like it's kind of crazy how so you go from Denver, the Pit, to now the Giants, and like to already think that like Jackson Dart's going to get in and he won't be starting is like it's kind of crazy how quickly it just kind of went downhill for him being a starting quarterback now.
Yeah, I mean the issue is with Russ at this point of his career, he still has like he can still hit the deep shots on the sideline, which have always been his patented thing, but it's like he can't scramble the same as he used to. Like I don't think he's as bad as Austin's saying. I think you're getting what you pay for. He's you're paying him like $10 million, which is nothing for quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks that can scramble way worse than like I'm sure.
No, like he's like
Rodgers on the Jets, probably Big Ben. Like he's like
I'm just more so saying like nowhere close to like to where he used to be. So it's like not like an asset to his game, and that was such a big part of his game, him being able to escape out of the pocket. And it's like he is a shorter quarterback, so he kind of able to make up for it with that speed, but it's like I think he could play. It's not going to be great football. It'll be like 190 yards, a touchdown type games. But I don't think it's going to be great or anything, but I think he could do okay. I just I'm not expecting much. My expectations are low, so they can be anywhere. Jameis, he's gonna play fun football if he gets in. It may not be that fun for us though once he hits that 4 interception game at some point. But I love watching Jameis play. But it's a lot more fun when it's kind of you're watching from a distance. But I love Jameis for the locker room because he's such a energetic, funny guy.
Fun guy.
So I think it'll be good for Jackson Dart. Like at least like these guys are like cool, like they're chill guys. Like Russ, even if he got benched, he would be okay. And Jameis, he would be great.
Yeah, Jameis, phenomenal teammate.
Jameis,
Russ, got a bad rap for being.
I feel like at this point of his career though, I feel like. With Fields, I feel like the Fields situation he was handling pretty well when they're like, we might be, they might not go back to you. And he's like, I'll play whatever role I have to, but they ended up going back to him. But
answer.
That's true, but as long as they're not in the media saying things, I mean, it's a lot better than certain guys, when they're not getting their way and they start speaking like directly to the media or on Instagram. Like it's not going to be anything like that. But. Also, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, we getting that, is that man, like, they've been rumoring he's signing to Pittsburgh, like, they say, oh, it's going to happen this week, oh, it's going to happen this week, oh, next week, this saga, dragging on.
It's typical Aaron Rodgers behavior, though.
That is true.
Drag it out as long as he possibly can, but now it's gotten to the point where nobody cares.
Yeah, it's like we expect him to sign there, so.
Yeah, I don't expect him to sign anywhere else.
Yeah.
It'll only be shocking if it's like, all right, I'm gonna hang up my cleats.
Yeah.
Then it'll be like, I didn't see that.
Be like, damn, that guy, the Steelers are kind of cooked. It's Mason Rudolph and Will Howard.
Hey, Will Howard, dog, national champion.
Yep.
Yeah. Man.
What do you like? I can tell when you're thinking that guy stinks.
That guy stinks.
Oh, okay.
I'm also a Notre Dame fan, so I have to.
Oh, what do you think about Riley Leonard?
Oh, that guy! I love that guy's heart, but his passing ability is not NFL caliber. He could run the ball. He's high character. He's a good guy to have in your locker room. But
you're squinting right now is really telling me you just want to say
he really limited the Notre Dame offense, keep passing the ball down the field. He's not good, but he's got dog in him. But he's just definitely. Doesn't have the arm, like he just
squint again. Robbie, tell me, just say it.
He's not great. He's a 6th-round quarterback, so it's like
yeah.
But it makes sense why they drafted him. Like it fits all the archetypes of their other just big body quarterbacks that could run. He doesn't have the arm, but it's like. I mean, hopefully he does. I'm rooting for him, because he is a great guy, it seems, and so I hope he does great as the 3rd-string quarterback. Balls out in preseason.
Yeah. So, now that we've talked a lot of NFL football, I can ask Robbie about his recent pickup from his card show.
Oh. Yeah, so I got I picked up massive so these guys I come up to the table. They're guys I've dealt with a lot before, great guys. They're very fair. I started digging through the value box. I'm finding like a bunch of cards. I'm like, oh, it's at a buck. I'm taking any patch auto at a buck. Like I don't care who it is. Like Taiwan, like just random stuff like this. But then I start finding like good, like some good stuff. Like I'm trying to think of like the first one I saw that was really good. But there's like Prism, like numbered Aaron Donald for a buck. I'm like, I'll take that all day just because I'm like, I know that's easy $3 or like that's. And then especially I start taking a bunch and then they're gonna cut me a deal. So I go through. I pick out about like 150 cards. Like there's different boxes. There's 1 to 4. There was a 5 to 10 box, and I picked out a bunch from there, so it was like a bunch of cool cards out of there. Then there was a basketball one. And I ended up with like 165-ish cards, and then they ended up cutting me a deal for like 300. I took those, and then I ended up going back around. I'm like, I want to go back. I want to see if I can buy the rest of it, because it was just a lot of like cool stuff, and I knew they'd cut me a good deal. So I ended up, I'm like, how much for the rest of it? Like, actually, one of the boxes in that time, one of the basketball boxes had been bought. So I'm like, damn, I'm like, oh, I would have loved that one too, but I ended up buying about like 600 cards plus an entire like quarter box, which the quarter box, or I mean, no, the dime, it was a dime box actually. I got that for like $20, and there's actually like a lot of numbered cards. Like I've already, yeah, I found like a couple just like base cards and stuff, but it's like it's stuff that I'll easily sell for like a couple cards for like 5. There's even like a Roquan Smith that goes for like $10. So it was a lot of value box pickups, but I was very happy with it just because it'll be so fun to dig through. You know, just random stuff. I know I found Doug's boy Paul Reed.
You have it right there. Do you have it?
Let me go get it while you talk.
Yeah, no. So Robbie told us about it, and I think he told us he traded, I think the Travis Hunt, Bowman Sapphire Auto, and the Rob Gronkowski 101 that I sold to him for this. I think he said I don't know if he traded them straight up or he had to add cash or whatever the deal was, but he then told me that he got or he found a Paul Reed card in there. And I was hyped because he said it was and if I'm not mistaken, it was the Elite Pen Pals out of 35, which is awesome because I own the Elite Pen Pals Black 101. So now I'll wait for Robbie. If Robbie, don't go crazy if you have it. But don't worry about it if you don't.
No, I couldn't find it.
Okay.
It's somewhere in there.
I have the one, and he has the one out of 35. So I think it only makes sense now that I start going for the rainbow.
Hey.
But it's also extremely hard to find any of those. I think the out of 99 might be on eBay, something like that. So we'll see. But anytime I can add a Paul Reed. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. So anytime I can get a Paul Reed into the collection, especially Robbie's going to throw it for free. And I already know that card's going off to SGC. And later, I'm assuming within the next week or two, we're going to finalize the SGC order, like that. We will show off what we're bringing, but I'm highly confident that this will be the largest Paul Reed 101 Paul Reed card submission of all time to SGC. I'm very excited. I got actually not just Paul Reed. I'm actually going to add some wrestling cards to my submission as well. So once we finalize, all right, everything's in card savers, ready to go. I think we will show those off. So that will definitely be fun and something I'm looking forward to.
Nice. Yeah. No, that'll definitely be a fun submission. I know Austin's got maybe some solo balls. I don't know if he's waiting for PSA for some or SGC for some too, but it should be some fun stuff. We'll definitely show off like what we're sending. But yeah, going back to the deal, it ended up the second box. I actually had my dad help me count the second box, and it was about like 660 cards in it. So, it's definitely going to be a lot to go through. There's just like random stuff. Like if I just grab the random pile, and there's like some of it's like not worth anything really. Like Amar Darbois, like Contenders auto, Travis Homer auto, just random stuff. But there's also like a lot of like sneaky guys. Like there's a Mark Andrews gold out of 10. Just like from XR or something. But it's a lot of randomness, but it's definitely going to be fun.
Yeah. How many have you gotten listed so far?
I've listed a couple. There's a couple Shea rookies. I sold one for $12.49. I sold a Shea Equinox out of 75 for like $25. So I've sold I've gotten a couple up in the
box.
No, those were in the prices marked, but they're in like the $10, but they ended up just it ended up being way less than the actual like marked price. Like it was basically 660 cards for $520. So less than $1 a card. Like some of the cards are worth, $1 or less maybe. But there's also like some just like regular base like CJ Strouds that are like $5 a piece. Like there's like 5 of those, and there's like a bunch of easy stuff like that. And then there's like the more random stuff like the random patch autos like Darrington Evans. Or some there's some random Colts, like there's Jordan Wilkins. There's guys like Marlon Mack.
I liked Marlon Mack.
Maybe I'll have a Marlon Mack card for Stin.
Yeah. You're gonna have to let us know. See, I'm curious how much you're gonna make total.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna track it separately because I have
Yeah.
like my normal spreadsheet where I track all my sales, but also like track separately like the lot because I did trade the Travis Hunter I bought from Doug, the Gronk I bought from Doug, and I got all those 660 cards plus 350 cash. So it kind of like got into the value range where I was like, all right, that's fair. And because they were cutting me deals, so I gave them like a better deal because it's something they were into the collection for like cheap. Like they got it for cheap, but it's like I'm willing to do the work on all this stuff and hopefully turn that bit into a lot.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Awesome.
But unless you guys have anything else to add, I think that's a good time to wrap this up.
Yeah, I got nothing to add.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching the podcast. We'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.